Hello, crafting buddies. Let me see if I need to move this a little bit. Guess that's pretty good, actually. Welcome. It's Lori from Lori's Bit of Craftin coming to you on Sunday night. It is August 24th and 11:36 p.m. here in Wisconsin. So, my quickie commercials. Let me see if I can get over to the YouTube so I can see if anybody's joining me live and or commenting. Selah, welcome. You're the first in. I just popped in and saw you come up here. So welcome. You've heard my commercials before, but Stampin' Up's doing their sale. This doesn't apply to you because obviously if you can't get the Stampin' Up stuff, it doesn't help. But these things are on sale through the end of August. So if you go to my store, which is at lorimacari.stampinup.net, if you're in the US, you can shop by color. So there's two shop categories. The first one is, I think, just shopping. And the second one, if you scroll down a little bit further, says shopping by. And when you expand that menu, you can shop by color and then go down to the 2025 to 2027 in colors. And those are 15% off. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, cool. I'm glad you saw the notification come up in real time. My iPad's a little delayed, so, I never know quite sure. I'm never quite sure if everybody's getting the notification. So, just had to take a little sip of water there. If you're in the United States and you order from me during August, by the 31st, if you order at least $35 of product, so that's before shipping and tax, I will gift you one of these cloud cover ink pads. Ask me for more details. A couple of the other announcements. Stampin' Up! Is making some changes. I've talked about them the last couple of days. The stamp pads don't work as well as they should. Or the notifications. Maybe the notifications. But anyway, Stampin' Up! Is doing some changes. Red rubber stamps, the cling stamps are going away. Markers are going away, and some of them are already gone. I was just looking, yeah, notifications. Squirrel, I get distracted and I forget where I was. I looked for the Secret C marker, and that one is already gone. So Stampin' Up! Is also changing packaging. So if you've got questions on that, you can either look on my last couple of nights or shoot me a message. I'd be happy to give you more information on that. And then on the 10th day, this catalog is going live. So September 3rd is when this goes live. I'm not allowed to show the inside of the catalog. I can only show you the cover, but there is some fun stuff in here. And I need to get another order together because there are some things that I'm like, why do I not have something more? So I have to put another order. I've only done one out of the catalog, so the new catalog. So if you'd be so kind to give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe if you haven't already done so, I'd appreciate it. Sally, you must be subscribed because you got the notification, so that's awesome. So tonight I am going to keep working on this Peaceful Garden Suite. So this was the card we did last night. All right, just a reminder. I'm going to work with the blue hues tonight. So the Peaceful Garden comes with some glimmer paper in 3 colors. We're going to work with this. It comes with some designer series paper that's got some really fun designs. Let me put some of this stuff down so I don't drop it all. So the glimmer paper has just basically like a silver, the Secret C, and the bright blue. So that's all blue hues. And then the designer series paper that is called Peaceful Garden has a bunch of pretty designs as well. I almost did something with this because I just like that. So these would be good for non-Christmas things. It's certainly generic enough. The doves might be a little bit more Christmassy. They did some samples for sympathy cards too. I like this one, so I think I'll probably do something with this pretty soon too. And then there's one more here. So just really pretty. And that's just a very muted basic beige kind of print. All right, I think I have everything cut and die cut and embossed that I need because, I'm supposed to try to get more sleep. Sleep is overrated, I always say. But anyway, hopefully we won't go like an hour and however many minutes past an hour. We've been going long lately, but it's been fun because there's been people here to chit chat with. So I'm going to use Sending Love. Sending Love is what I have on here. I use the hybrid embossing folder. So this is really cool. You wish you could borrow me some sleep? Yeah, that would be all right. My doctors would probably like it. But this is a hybrid, I'm sorry, this is not a hybrid embossing folder. So even though this label die will fit in here, it's not recommended that you do them together. All right. And I have one of the dies out of here already. And that's the smaller of the two labels, because I'm going to show you what I did with that on my second project. And then I also use the perennial postage dies. So these are available. It used to be a bundle with a stamp set as well, but only the dies are available now. So I'm going to use those. There's also in this garden, Peaceful Garden Suite collection, there's these hues of blue flowers and this gorgeous ribbon. I don't know if I'll be using any of this ribbon tonight. I think I cut just a small piece just in case it looks good. So the first thing I thought we would do is make a framed piece. All right. So this is a 5x7 frame and I pre-cut all of my things. So this is, like I said, it's 5x7 and I'm going to open this up. Maybe I had it open earlier. There we go. And I am going to take the glass out because my things are not going to fit with the glass in there. So I'm going to put that in a safe place so I don't drop it. All right. And I'm just going to kind of let this, I'm going to let it kind of sit like this for right now. I have a piece of the designer series paper that's 5x7 because that's how big my frame is. So that's going to go there. And then I have just a scrap of the silvery glimmer. I die cut in just basic white with that smaller label. And then I embossed this secret, this is cloud cover. Yeah, it is a fun idea because they're great for Christmas gifts or even just to sit around the house because you know, I like stuff that I can put up and take down really quick. So I'll just have something sitting on, you know, like, I've got, what do they call it? It's a table that actually would go behind a couch if you had your decor set up, your furniture set up that way. I don't remember what it's called. But it's taller than like a coffee table. It's taller than an end table. And I put some of my Christmas things on there. But this one, we're going to lay it on here. And I actually thought I liked it with rounded corners. Now, Stampin' Up! Doesn't have a corner rounder anymore, a punch. But I have an old one. So if you have one and you feel so inclined to use it, go for it. Or you can just leave them as is. But I just thought that kind of softened it up a little bit. All right, so we'll get rid of that. All right, so I'm just going to set this over here because with this piece of glimmer paper, which this one was not quite 4¼ by 5½-ish, because I trimmed it down just a little bit from what the embossing folder embosses, because I just wanted the little narrowest of borders around there. So this I cut to 4½ by 5 and looks like 5/8, 5 5/8. All right. But rather than waste this whole piece of glimmer paper, I thought I would be frugal. So that's where the perennial postage dies come in, because I die cut this already and I'm just cutting the frame. So this is going to go on here. All right. So let me just scooch this over. So that's going to go like this. All right. Because I didn't want to waste all of this when I could use all of that for something else. It's going to be covered up. All right. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue around the edges. With the rounded corners, the inside piece, it kind of looks as if it was in a vintage metal frame, right? It does. So I'm just going to put this glue, maybe, just around the edges, because I know there's not a whole lot of room around here. All right. So let's just set this on here. And I'm going to put more glue on the back in just a minute once we get this all kind of secured. And I'm going to hold that for just a little bit because it's glimmer paper, so I want to give it some time to set. And then I'm going to end up using some tear and tape on the back just to hold it all in place. I don't want anything to fall off. All right, so let's go ahead and flip this over. So I'm going to use my tear and tape and just put some on here. So I dropped a hair on there. I'm sure you can't see it, but I can see it. All right, so just so nothing falls apart. I do kind of like the old-fashioned vintage look. Excuse me. So I'm glad that's the vibe it was giving off, because I kind of like that. And this is the end of another roll of tear and tape. Yeah, I shed a lot. I don't have that much to shed either. My hair is pretty thin. It's very fine. And the older I get, it seems the faster it falls out. All right, so this is going to end up going here. Now, I think what I'm going to want to do is maybe put this up on dimensionals. So actually what I'll do is, okay. Yeah, it's Monday. It's a school day for you guys. It's almost Monday here. It's not quite midnight. All right, so let's do some of these adhesive strips. If I can get one pulled out of here, there we go. So this will give me a nice firm lift on my layer. And then we'll put this one here. So it looks like 2 strips just for the edges. And I want to kind of fill it in almost all the way. I mean, I don't mind that there's a little bit around the corner. It's not like it's a shaker card. But I would rather have it well framed since it's going to be a home decor piece. Move that out to the edge just a little bit more. There we go. Sala, when you get a chance, tell me, how old is your daughter and what grade is she in? Our kiddos have not gone back to school yet. Some of them have, but our granddaughter and her stepbrother don't start until just after Labor Day. So they have one more week to enjoy summer vacation. And then I'm just going to put a couple of pieces in here. Because with the label that we're putting in the middle, I want to make sure it doesn't sink. All right, and then this one I'll trim a little bit. It's just a little longer than I want it. She's 8, so she's really close in age to my granddaughter. 2nd grade. All right. Yeah, my granddaughter is 7.5, so she is also going into 2nd grade. Cool. All right, so there's that. Let's go ahead and put that on. I don't do a whole lot of home decor items like this, but I think I should. I've given a couple as Christmas gifts to family, and the recipients, at least to my face, are very appreciative. They think they're just really nice to have homemade items. So, and I've seen them in their house after the fact, so I think they really do like them. All right, so that's going to go there. And again, this is going to sit here. So now let's go back to this little shimmer piece. And I cut out another piece from the center there because that is going to go here. All right. And this I'm just going to attach flat to the card, I think, but I'm not positive yet. And then this I'm going to save for another card because I tried to be very careful to have everything straight and centered. And I think this would make another kind of fun little Christmas card. So here's one other one that I recently made. I think I did a video on this. I haven't finished putting a layer on the inside, but that's another one that's been done with this suite of products. All right. So I'm going to save that. Now, what did I do with, here it is. I have this white layer that's going to go here. And I am going to do Sending Love on here. And then I'm also going to put on a dove and some stars. And I die cut these ahead of time just so that you wouldn't all be bored watching me die cut things. And I think I'll use all 3. You'll have to tell me if you think the dove is too much. All right. But I'm going to show you before I put these on. I'm going to show you hopefully a trick that's going to be fun with embossing. So I'm going to use some heat embossing. But I don't have any Secret C embossing powder. So what I like to do is I will take my Versamark and I'm going to ink this up pretty good. In fact, let me get my embossing buddy is somewhere. Let me run over to the other table because I think it's over there. I have 2 of them, but I lost track of one. I normally have it sitting directly to the left of me, but it has walked away. So I'm going to use my embossing buddy, which is just a it's not even canvas, it's just like a light material that's got powder inside so that we can reduce the static. So let me ink this up again. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Secret C on here. And I'm going to let that sit for a minute because I need to find my clear embossing powder. So we've got these Wow embossing powders, and they come white, black, and clear. That's a 3-pack. All right, so I'm going to get that inked up. Hopefully this will work good. By putting the embossing or the Versamark on first, I've kind of made it sticky, and that's going to be helpful with the blue ink. And then I'm going to try to put this embossing powder on right away, and hopefully it will stick good, because I just want it to be a little shiny. Okay, so we're good there. We'll put that in the jar in a minute. If I try to do it on camera, I'll probably mess it up. All right, so I'm going to turn on my heat gun. And our heat guns have 2 settings. One is just to dry ink, and 2 is for heating the embossing powder, which is just little itty bitty pieces of plastic, right? So all we're doing is we're melting plastic. And I like to heat mine from the back, because now you can see how that's changing. And I shine it in the light, and if everything is shimmery, let me turn on another light here. If everything is shimmery, that means it's all set. You don't want to set it too hard. You know, you don't want to keep blowing the heat on there, because you can over melt the plastic, and it'll melt right into your paper. All right, so that's my little trick with embossing with colors. I'll use that Versamark, and I do the Versamark first, and then I put the ink on it, because on the stamp. So if I do Versamark first and then the ink, when I flip it over and put it on my piece, when I lift it up, the Versamark is actually on top, right? Because that was first on, it's last off. So then I can put my embossing powder on there, and it usually sticks pretty good. So that's my little trick for you today, if that's something that you've not known before. All right, so let's get this out of the way. And that can go over there. So now what we'll do is we'll pull back in our little frame piece. And if we put this on here, now it's got some more shimmer. So that'll go here. And my plan was to put this up on dimensionals as well, just to give it some more depth. So I'm going to put glue on here. And we're just going to hold this to give it some time to set. And then we'll end up putting some dimensionals on the back. And we'll have to see if you think that dove is too glitzy. Maybe I'll cut out a white one as well, and we can layer it so it's not so, if we think it's too gaudy. And then these little stars we're going to put up here. And let's lay this over here. I didn't lay this out ahead of time. I was just cutting things. So this is, I'm seeing this as at the same time as you are. And I was kind of thinking if I put another star up here, I can put that on its own little mini dimensional. And then it'll kind of create our threesome of embellishments. I'm going to have to trim this down a little bit because I think it's too big. Oh, that didn't work. Sometimes these smaller pieces are just hard to get to comply. And hopefully my head's not getting in the video. That might still be a little bit big. So I'm going to try to trim this a little bit more. Without trimming the star. Don't want to accidentally do that. So I think that should be okay now. All right, so let's go ahead and put this up here. That should be okay. And then these two I'm just going to glue on. So just a little blob of glue there. A little dab will do ya. You don't need a whole lot. Dot, 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 not a lot. So this I think is kind of a lot. What do you think? If you're watching, let me know if you think that dove. Hi Fifi, welcome. We're doing a home decor piece with the Peaceful Garden Suite. And I'm thinking I need to cut another dove because that seems like it's just really in your face. It seems really, really bright to me. And then I'm wondering, let's just scooch this over. I'm wondering too if I should do like a branch. So I could get that die out too. And we'll do that in white. So let's just cut a strip of white and we'll see. If I don't need it, that's fine. All right, so since I didn't lay this out ahead of time, I was just cutting my pieces and I knew what I had in my, going on through my brain. I hadn't really anticipated that that dove might look a little much. What do you think? Do you think the glimmery dove is too much or you think it's okay? Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. All right, we'll put those away so I don't lose them. We'll get this out of the way. My little Betsy. All right, so let's scooch this back in here. So here's our dove. And we could go like this so that there's just a little glimmer around the edge of the dove. And then I have my journaling pen where I can just put an eye in here. And we could, I don't even know if I'll need this now. No one's ever seen you say no to glimmer. I only say no to glitter. I do not do glitter. Glitter makes me crazy. So what do you think of the branch? I think the dove just with the glimmer is, it's more than I can manage, but I kind of like it with the glimmer behind the dove. So kind of like offset here. Can you see that okay? Do the branch and secret see? That's a good idea. Let me grab a piece of that because I do have some handy. Another piece, I just want to show you something else that I have. It's a hybrid embossing folder that I thought was just super slick. All right, so let's do it in, and I think that's a good idea. The secret seal will be better contrast than the white. And when I offset my plates, it doesn't really matter if they're in a C or an E format or if they're just stair steps. Just so long as all three edges aren't all together, it makes it a whole lot easier to put it through the machine. Yeah, the white branch is kind of lost there, don't you think? Although I could glue them together. There we go. I could glue them together to give them a little more stability. So there's that, and I'll probably end up trimming it. I don't want the end of the stem to show, but I kind of like how it fits naturally right between those stars. Yeah, I like it with the secret C. Very good idea. Very good idea, Fifi. That works. And then with the glimmer piece, Fifi, you came in after we had done these. So this is a 5x7 frame. And then when I did the embossing, it was like 4¼ by 5 by something. So I just added a quarter to make the border in the glimmer paper. But I cut out the glimmer paper, so I gutted it so that I could have another piece. And then this label with these dies, with the Peace on Earth dies, there are two labels. So there's the big one and then there's a smaller one. So I use the big one to cut out here, and I'm going to use this for a different project another day. All right, and then I'm going to keep that out for my other one. All right, so let's finish putting these together. So let's go ahead and put some glue on the back of our dove. And I did not put glue on the feathers. I just put glue on the body. And I'm going to offset this just a little bit here. And then we can give these feathers some lift as well. Have you played with that sweet yet, Fifi? And then let's put some glue on here. Did you order it for pre-order or for the Creativity Now event that was available for demonstrators? I've had it for a bit, which is why I was able to do this card, because it was the pre-order item for that event. I like to do those events just so I can get some early ideas. Yeah, because it is in the mini catalog, so it's very pretty. And I am putting these offset, so that'll give that branch even more dimension. And I think I'm going to go ahead and cut the stem off just so it doesn't peek out accidentally. And then I think I'm going to put this flat. I was thinking of putting this up on dimensionals, but if I put the dove with the branch on a dimensional, I don't know. Do you think both should be? Maybe I will. Oh, why not? It's going to be a 3D item, so it's not like I'm going to mail it. Well, you know, that's the problem with being a crafter, Sala, is that we buy things because we like them, and then time gets away from us, and we have all of these grand ideas, and unfortunately, things end up not getting used. And for me, doing my lives every night has really forced me to use more of the things that I purchase. So there's that. And I think I'll just put that little scrap on there and that little scrap on there. All right. I think it's a common problem. The other problem that I have had is that I buy things, and because I haven't used them, and then when I go to place another order, I see something and it's like, oh, I really like that. Only to find out when the order comes, I already had it. So I know I really liked it. Yes, I have not gotten the Northern Lights yet either. How many, have you only seen the Northern Lights once? I have only seen them once, and at the time, I didn't even realize they were the Northern Lights. It was really kind of crazy. I was driving home, and I was looking to the north, and it was a beautiful, clear night. And I thought my contact lenses were going goofy. And I kind of like, oh, what is this? Why is this happening? And I finally realized it was the Northern Lights. I would like to see them again. So I'm going to go ahead and lay this here so that I can put my dove on it first. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and put a dimensional on the wing. And I guess on the tail. Yeah, I've only, as far as I'm aware, I might have seen them when I was a kid because we used to go camping a lot when I was a kid. So we might have seen them, but I'm thinking I was probably in bed in my tent. So you both have been very lucky to have seen them multiple times. Someday, maybe I'll see them again. We've gone out. There's been some opportunities where I live. We're kind of far south from where they normally are visible in Wisconsin, apparently. So my husband have tried to drive to see them. So now I'm thinking that's pretty wide open there. Do I need anything there, or is that enough? I probably should have put those stars a little bit lower now that I'm thinking about it. What if we could do a couple more little sprigs, maybe? What do you think? I'll cut them out. We can lay them out there, and if we don't like them, I don't have to glue them on. You don't think there's too much white? The dove should kind of be the focal point, I suppose. Where did my little... I lost it anyway. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. just cut one more just for kicks. Although I could have probably done that in cloud cover, and that would be more subtle. I don't have any cloud cover with me right at my table. So if I had done this in cloud cover, that would be a little bit more subtle. All right. Is it as foggy and rainy there as Twilight Saga claims? Or are you talking about where Fifi is? Hello, sweetheart SH. Welcome. We're just finishing our first project. So, this will go in here. And then we'll have to decide if we want these little sprigs on here or not. So I'm not going to do it now, but I'm going to cut those out in the cloud cover and just see. So Sweetheart SH, is that Diana? All I can see is Sweetheart SH. All right, so there's project number 1. Welcome, Diana. All right. So, what do we think about this one? The frame is a hit. It's a good home decor piece. All right. Or it could be good as a gift. I don't think I want to put any other bling on it because of the glimmer. So I'm just going to set that off over here. Nice. See, I think it's great that we have this crafting community, that people know each other without even really knowing each other. And then if, excuse me, then if you're able to go to events, I've met a couple of people face to face that I've communicated with online. It's like, oh, it's so nice to meet you. I lost the cover to my little snips. So before we start the second project, let me get this out of the way. Before we start the second project, I wanted to show you this other new item that I ordered with my pre-order. So this is a Christmas Words Collage Hybrid Embossing Folder. Okay, so hybrid embossing folders, you get the embossing folder and you get a die or a set of dies, because you can emboss and cut at the same time. So that's when this one does. So if you can see all these different, let me take it out of here in case there's a glare. There are a lot of people, I think, in Wisconsin from Finland too, aren't there? Or maybe that's Norway. But I'm Swedish, so, you know, I'm close, right? All right, so anyway, so this embossing folder will either just emboss if you use it without the die, or it'll cut out all these words. So I thought I would run this through the embossing folder and just show you all of these sentiments. So I should have done it in a lighter color. But what I thought I could do is probably just use my craft white ink. But look at all these. Then you'd have all kinds of things if you did it in the right color. You know, let's say you did it in white or red. you would have all of these different sentiments. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, like 20 different sentiments. So I thought that's cool. It does not come with a separate stamp set. It's just the die and the embossing folder as a set. So if you get an embossing folder that's a hybrid, when you get your die, there will be channels where the die fits right in. It fits snug. And then when you put your paper in and close it and turn it over and run it through the machine, it will cut everything out. So that's my little preview for something else coming. All right. So you get 2 packages. You get the embossing folder and then you get the die as well. All right. So let me put that off to the side. And then Wisconsin too. Yep. So you were just looking at the map the other day. Okay, I've not been to those places in Michigan, but I'm sure there's communities that are pretty inhabited by different countries. You know, like around here, there's a big Danish influence because that's where we get like our kringle and some of our other pastries. So the second card I am going to do, I still wonder what I did with the cap to my, oh, here it is. The cap to my snips went flying. All right. So the next card I'm going to do, I'm using also that same Peaceful Garden. Yep, Peaceful Garden DSP. And I did a similar card to this not too awful long ago. Just really basic with the strips on here. So it's an 8.5 by 5.5 card base. I'm using the thick basic white. We'll score it at 4.25. And then I took a piece of the glimmer paper, and this is 3 3/4 by 5, and that's going to go here. Oh, you're close to Canada. Wow. Okay. So a lot of Dutch. Michigan might have a lot of Dutch too, because there's the Holland tulip. There's a company that sells a lot of bulbs, and they're in Holland, Michigan. All right, so there's our glimmer. Now this one I didn't cut anything out of the middle, but these strips are 1 by 3.5. So 1 by 3.5, and I have 4 of them from that paper in different designs. So these are all the A sides. These are all the B sides. You could do something for that too, but I was kind of going with the more Christmassy theme. Now the other card that I had done, instead of having 4 strips, I had 3 strips of the designer series paper, and then 1 strip was white with the sentiment on. But this time I'm going to do the sentiment in that label. All right. So let's go ahead and put these on. Oh, that's funny you have a Burlington. Burlington is almost right, well, not right next to me. Burlington, for us, we have Burlington, Wisconsin, and that's about a 12-minute drive for me. It's a 55-mile-an-hour speed zone. So I think it's like 15 miles-ish. 12, 15 miles. I used to work in Burlington before I retired. I would not have realized that you had tulips where you are. But I suppose, you know, it doesn't... What's your summer, your high temperatures? Hello, Dana. Welcome. We're on our second project. We're about 50 minutes in, I think. I think I started at about 20, maybe it was 11:36. I don't remember. Sally, do you remember what time I started? It was after 11:30. So I am using the Peaceful Garden suite of products. So I should have probably put these strips a little further in. Oh, I can still move them a little bit here because of the glimmer. Let's see if I can move this one in a little bit more too. Mama Juju's here. Mama Juju, I forgot. Do you go live every night? Because I know you've told me it's about, you go on 10 o'clock. All right, who's April? Did I miss somebody coming on? All right, so here's these. Oh, well, Mama Juju has never disclosed her real name to me. I'll have to make a note of that. All right, Mama Juju is April. Good to know. From Mississippi. All right, so there's that. We'll let those sit. They'll dry eventually. So now we're gonna do our sentiment. Now this is the small label from those dies, and I thought that covered too much of my paper. I didn't like that. So again, I did this a few nights ago. I modified this. So I ran it through, but then I ran it through a second time and I cut off part of that die because I didn't want it that long. So let's go ahead and do Sending Love again, because that's what we did on our other one. Mama Juju, do you always do junk journaling for your lives, or do you do something else? I'm going to put this down near the bottom. Sala, you have permission to reveal people's secret identities. All right, that's on there. And then this is going to go over here, I think. I think I want it here. Maybe I want it there. No, I think I want it down here. Lower, middle, what do you think? And maybe I should actually put it over here because I'm going to have another dove. And I have, let me get this out of the way. I have a couple of these little love letters. Yep, I know Fifi's real name. All right, so I'm going to put these together just so that they're a little stronger. And that can go with our dove. So what did you do tonight, Mama Juju? And I don't know if I really need a branch on here for this one. That might just muddy it up too much. What do you think? Branch or no branch? I'm going to put that sentiment on dimensionals though, because everything else is kind of flat. Nope, Fifi is not Fiona. That was a good guess though. All right, so let me get my journaling pen. Let's give a little eye to this dove again, because the dove really needs an eye. All right, and I'm going to get rid of this so I don't lose it. Because that would be sad. All right, what do we think? Maybe I should do a little blending brush on our envelope, or maybe on that branch. What do we think? I'm going to have to go back and read some of these. I might have missed it. All right, so I missed the secret car identity. So let's do just a little bit of blending around this sentiment, I think. Just to give that a little oomph. All right, so that'll go there. Our dove is all right like that, I think. I'm going to put this up on some dimensionals. Nope, not Tracy. Nope. Winner gets fame, not fortune. That's funny. Yeah, Fifi, I'm not going to disclose. You can disclose if you want. When you're ready. I'll just keep telling them if they're wrong. Felicia, Karen, nope. Fifi is not a Karen. Let's do a little bit on this branch too and just see how that looks. We may or may not do the branch. Not Wanda. Not Becky, not Caroline. Those are all some pretty names. All right, I just turned my finger blue. I'll look like I'm hypoxic. All right. I kind of like that branch a little bit with the blue. with the secret C on there. What do you think? All right, so the other thing that I had was this ribbon. So if I put the branch with the ribbon by the dove, is that too much? I kind of like that ribbon, but I want it to make sense. I don't want it to just be on there for the sake of being on there. Josephine. Not Henrietta. One of my chickens is named Henrietta, though. All right, so let's do, if we do the ribbon instead of the branch. What do you think of that? The ribbon instead of the branch, maybe? What do you think of that? Elena, Sophia. Good name for a chicken. Yeah, she's I have two that are Easter eggers. One's Esther, the Easter egger, and one's Henrietta. All right, what do we think for this card to finish it up, ladies? We can keep guessing. Fifi's real name. Ophelia. That was just in a program my husband and I watched tonight. Professor T on PBS. There was an Ophelia. I think that was her name. All right. I kind of like it with the ribbon. What do you ladies think with the ribbon? It is a common name. All right. So here's project number 1 and here's project number 2. We'll do the dove taking a love letter. You know a person called Esther who has a chicken. Well, that kind of counts. It is a great use of scraps. Thank you, Fifi. So I have, one of my chickens' names is Stella. She's a beautiful sapphire gem. And she's like a silvery gray, and she reminds me of Winka Stella, so I named her Stella. And then we have a Mo. She is a big Easter egger. She lays dark green eggs. And I named her Mo because she has a tuft of feathers on top of her head, and it looks like a mohawk. And Pam, no. I wonder if my video locked up. I'm still moving on my phone, but my video might have quit. Stella. There, now my video's moving again. So if it was stuck, I apologize. I know, I just said that. Stella! I might put this branch inside the card when I do a layer. I'll do Secret C in white in there. Carmen, Joy. Well, Fifi, you could narrow it down to a few letters, like the first half of the alphabet or the second half of the alphabet. Beth, nope. I'll save those. Let me just hook this in here. Yep, first half of the alphabet. Oh, I'll have to look that up now because I did not know that, Fifi. All right, so here's our little home decor item. It's going to be so cute. And I think, contrary to popular opinion, I think I kind of like it with the extra branches in there. But I think I'm going to cut them out of cloud cover. So, are you ladies still guessing? I'm gonna go get some cloud cover. I'm not seeing any more guesses, Anna. Yes, it is a frame. I decided to make a home decor item. If you look in the catalog, there's one in there, but mine looks different. Let me get... What did I do with the dies? Here they are. Here they are. So Jennifer, Carmina, when did you didn't really tell. Oh, yes, you did. Linda, I missed that message. Yes, she said it right before Cerveza or Curveza. That's funny. Well, you guys can keep guessing. That would be fine. I'm going to make a couple more sprigs here and just see how they look. Use up another scrap. My daughter's name is Jennifer. Yeah, so I have another friend named Linda, and the other Linda was on live with me, and then Fifi came on, and I said, Linda, because I had my two Lindas on. It was kind of funny. All right. Let's get rid of this die so I don't lose it again. All right, so let's pull this little puppy back in. What did I do with my other? Oh, here it is. So here's the two dark blue sprigs. Yeah, I missed it too. What do you think? Maybe since I did white on the back of the Secret Sea one, maybe I should do cloud cover on top of the Secret Sea. What do you think? Maybe just cloud cover. That's a lot going on there. I kind of like it breaking up the white though. I know that wasn't the, I know that was not the vote of everybody, but I think I like the extra sprigs in there. So my little frame is going to do the cloud cover sprigs in there. And this one, what do we think? The ribbon or the blending of the little sprig? Do you think the ribbon's too much with all the, maybe the ribbon might be too much with all the glimmer paper. We had a secretary in our office named Stephanie, and she was not very nice. Respiratory therapy came in looking for her, huh? Well, we'll see if you remember Linda's name, Sala. You might. You might. Stefani. Because he was fawning over her? That's funny. So yeah, if you want to vote on, should I use the sprig or some ribbon, let me know. The ribbon is a different color from the glimmer paper, so I'm thinking I don't really like the ribbon after all. But it does go with the colors there, so that might work. What do you think? Did he know you were playing though, Fifi? Oh, he did. Okay, he realized that how he sounded. Okay. The sprig, yeah, I'm kind of thinking too. That's funny, Fifi. All right, so Diana says the sprig. So did you tell Stefani that Pierre was there looking for her? She would have been lost too, I bet. Oh, that's so funny. It's good when you can have fun at work. Harmless. Harmless fun. That's a great story, Fifi. You haven't told me that whole part of it. That's great. I mean, I knew it came from that job because you had mentioned that to me before, but I didn't know about all the conversation there. That's funny. That's awesome. All right, I'm going to wrap this up, ladies. This has been a great conversation. Love it. That wasn't such a long story. That was good, though. That was good. It's longer when you have to type it out. Too young for you, huh? That's cool. All right, any votes? Diana said sprig. Anybody else? Otherwise, I'm going with the sprig. Because I think that ties the designs together too. Well, Sally, I think you, oh no, Diana said the sprig. So yeah, Sally, do you think we need the sprig or yep, sprigs? Okay, Mama Juju says the sprigs. We're voting on the card. Do you want the sprig or the ribbon to kind of tie everything together? Ribbon or sprig? I have two sprigs. sprigs and, and ribbon. I think that might be a little much. It might work though. If we did the sprig down in the same direction as the ribbon, that could work. A white ribbon? I don't know that I have any current white ribbon. Everything I have is colored. But did you know this ribbon is on the last chance list? I wish I had silver. I don't have silver because the gold won't go with this. But this ribbon is on the last chance list, 10% off. So sprig and the ribbon because then we have a cluster, or does it look like the bird is pooping? Yeah, I'm not sure how it's on the last chance list so fast. It seems like I've had it for a while, and mine is actually almost gone. I mean, I'm almost all the way through mine, so I've had it for a bit. All right, so we got 2 votes for ribbon and the sprig. What do you know? I just don't want it to look like the bird is pooping. Because that would not be funny. I should have bought 2, but I figure when I buy 2 of things, and a lot of times I don't end up using them. See, if we go like this, then it's really going to look like the bird's pooping. All right, so let's go ahead and put this envelope on here. The Messy Palette, welcome. You must be from Australia. We just got to the pooping part. We're almost done, sorry. It is like netting. All right, so this is going to go here. And our dove is going to go here. We kind of have votes for ribbon and a sprig. So Messy Palette, are you also a like Diana? Oh, I don't know. Diana from Australia. Okay. So the Messy Palette, are you a painter or multi-crafter? Yes, so we have a Diana and a Diane. Multi-mess maker. I am a messy stamper, so I get it. This is actually pretty clean for me. All right. Well, I'm going to figure this one out. We're kind of mixed here. You're a paper pirate? Diana's a paper pirate. Multifaceted is good. It's good to have diverse interests. So that's why we did a 3D item and we did a card. The paper pirate, is that a good thing? I don't know. Diana, Sala will have to tell us that. I can just hear that. Hey, mate. And the arg. We were talking about mate at one of our Stampin' Up things. What do you call somebody? Just call a mate. Hey, mate. I don't know anybody who's not a paper hoarder because it's all so pretty, right? All right, ladies. I need more than a weekend to use up DSP, to quite honestly. I don't even think I could get it all cut down into smaller pieces to use it in a weekend. I have a lot. You're welcome, Fifi. So it's having a big pirate boat and not afraid to stock. Is that like saying you can fit all of your stuff in a box and then your husband says, stop calling our house a box? Back to business. No more bird poop. Yeah, well, I got chickens. I got bird poop all the time. I'm just not sure. You know, maybe I'm the only one that would see this as bird poop coming out of there. But if I do it more like this, that might work. And then if I put the dove up here so that the sprig is definitely on top of the bird, then it's not bird do. Well, I'm glad you had a fun time. That's part of the joy of sharing all of the crafting things and having the conversations. It keeps things interesting and fun. So I'll play with this. I'll see what it looks like. Steph, welcome. Everybody's coming on late. We've been on here for almost an hour and a half. My husband's going to look at me like, how am I supposed to watch an hour and a half? Hi, Steph. Night, Steph. Yes, it was fun having everybody on board tonight. I'm going to play with this. I'll put some pictures on my Facebook page. I'm a little behind on doing those. Feel free to like, share, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Yeah, watch the replay, put it on double speed. Yeah, I usually go on late too. That's why like my little moniker is Late Night Lori. But thank you everybody for popping in. It is 1 a.m. here in Wisconsin, so I'm going to go get some sleep. Thanks again for popping in. Until next time, happy crafting. Thanks for all the hearts, you guys. I love it. There we go. Have a good night, everybody. Mama Juju, who did you talk to me about? I hope it was good things. Of course, I don't know that you'd have any bad stuff on me, right? Oh, cool. So you use something from us in your journaling card. Very cool. Very cool. All right. I'll be on probably in another 22 hours or so. Night, everybody.